Man, I swear that I'm a real one, I ain't never losing. And now I'm so caught they spin, but they don't never do shit. I'm in these streets, this shit is real, man, I ain't picking choosing. I gotta get rich before I down, focused on the music. And I swear that I'm a real one, I ain't never losing. And now I'm so caught they spin, but they don't never do shit. I'm in these streets, this shit is real, man, I ain't picking choosing. I gotta get rich before I down.
So we're back with another episode of Gardening Gupshup with Make Me Garden, and this is episode number 5. And today we are going to answer the unanswered questions. So, how does it feel, Rohit, to answer the unanswered questions?
It feels good because
You didn't even answer yet, Rohit. How do you feel good?
No.
Imposter.
Yeah, we are throwing light on topics which are in dark and people don't much care about it because someone else is doing it for them in most of the cases. So now the very next time people show interest in their garden, they'll definitely ask about it, whether this element is added or not,
Right.
or this is there or not. So I think we are throwing light on some topics which are in dark at the moment.
That is the secret, I guess.
Yeah, that's the
Secret ingredients for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're wondering why Rohit's voice is not loud enough, he has some cold he caught last night, so that is why he's not so loud.
Yeah, so I would personally recommend all the viewers, followers, or anybody it is that don't sleep in your room having your mosquito coils on. Always light them off and then sleep. No matter how many mosquitoes bite, this cold is unnecessary.
Hey, you learn something every day.
Yeah, we learn something every day, and yeah, if people are having a doubt if I got affected by something, no, I'm absolutely fine. My throat is good, everything is good, I'm doing fine.
No worries, he's not affected by anything,
Yeah,
I can vibe it, sense it.
yeah, all good, and I think the next episode will be very normal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into the questions. The first question: what is Epsom salt?
Okay. Epsom salt is nothing but it's like a crystal like element. As the name says, it is made of magnesium sulfate. So it is used in plants very much specifically because Epsom salt can be used both in the soil as well as in the water to spray it over the crops. So Epsom salt gives your plant the bushy like look.
Okay.
Whenever you want to have your plants, mostly there are plants like leafy vegetables. We don't use it technically, but yeah, people who grow a lot, like on a organic farm maybe, or
On a massive scale.
on a massive scale, and also who have bigger grow bags, they try to have something bushy and very attractive.
Okay.
And also Epsom salt helps maintain that color, that size, quality of the fruit. So it's technically used in both the ways, but most recommended one is the direct spraying. You can have a foliar spray,
Okay.
which is like a sprinkler. You can mix it in the ratios of 2 tablespoons for every 30 ml of water,
Okay.
and you can directly spray it on your plant's leaves, and maybe in 15 days you will see a beautiful outlook of your plant, and you can keep maintaining it for 21 to 30 days.
But this is necessary for people growing it at a good scale, or for anybody at home too?
Yeah, anybody at home too, if you are not very sure about your potting mixture, because
Okay.
whatever we purchase or we procure, it definitely has good amount of Epsom Epsom salt. So definitely we don't need it in specific, because when you have seen our harvest day, you could see that they were bushy.
Right.
They were also very green and good in quality. So it's very well understood that we didn't need Epsom
Require
salt.
it.
Yeah, didn't require it.
Got it.
But maybe tomorrow, if we have a team lunch for maybe 30-40 members, and when we want to have a good and bushy crop, then I think we can use
We
it.
might do it.
We might use it, depending on the soils used and how much we have used it till date.
If we ever use it, we'll obviously update you on how the result is.
Yeah.
So we get an understanding of how does the crop grow with the Epsom salt and without the Epsom salt.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that should show you the difference technically.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is bone meal?
Okay.
So it's just so funny. What exactly is that?
Okay, so bone meal is nothing but it is one of your organic nutrients which you
Okay.
top up on your soil. Because you might be knowing that all the land that is there, there is no frequency of phosphorus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, even for the previous question, it is magnesium. Magnesium requirements. For Epsom salt, the component that is added to the soil is magnesium.
Okay.
So similarly, for bone meal, it is phosphorus.
But what is bone meal?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Just I'm telling you before
Right,
why
right.
we add the bone meal. So yeah, bone meal is nothing but it is the fossils of animals, all kinds of animals.
Mhm.
Like you know that animal deaths are most frequent and we don't like it because we kind of think they are very nice to the environment. They are very innocent beings. We don't accept the truth, but the reality is, as humans pass away every single day, there are even hundreds and thousands of birds, animals dying each and every day.
Right.
So similarly, when animals die, like it could be a dog, a cat, a sparrow, a elephant, or be it even a buffalo,
Mhm.
or a cow, or anything, a donkey, anything can die. All animals are bound to die. So these all animals are, however, buried. In most of the cases, they are not burnt. So what happens is that these all bones are preserved by these people whoever prepares the bone meal. They
Preserved as in they remove the bones.
yes, they remove the
Okay.
bones from the plant, from the animal. They take these bones and the skin is as it is buried away. So all these bones are taken away and they are boiled to a
Okay.
certain extent that they become rock hard.
Okay.
And now they crush it completely and they mix with few other elements which gives this powder like feel.
Mhm.
And they make it into a component, they preserve it for few days and it's ready. And you have the only thing why bones are very important is the phosphorus and the calcium element that is hidden in them.
Okay.
So most of the plants which are like bulbs I mean onions, turnips, these all are called bulbs. So these all plants and underground plants like potato, like beetroot, carrots, these all like bone meal, to be very honest. Like
What do you mean like?
yeah, I mean I'm saying that they absorb that nutrient more.
Okay.
Okay, so whichever are under the ground, and few like roses and all
Okay.
these things which have technically plants which have very dense roots,
Mhm.
like they have thick roots inside them. They love to have bone meal. So we will have to provide that component in additional apart from the soil quality and other factors that are associated with it. So bone meal is technically not everybody's choice, and you have other phosphorus substitutes too.
I think that would be better because this entire process seems horrific.
Yeah,
At least for me, I don't know how it is for others, but for me, it seems horrific.
but I think it's nature's element. We should move
Yeah,
on.
it is nature's element, but it's just horrific for
Okay.
me.
Okay, but the truth is that people don't also go into this tough process. So people who believe that we'll be using our land for some gardening purposes at least 10 to 15 years down the lane, because people buy lands and keep it away. They also suggest and recommend people, if they find any dead animals, they ask them to bury in their lands.
Oh,
Yeah, so that they get that nutrient. The land doesn't miss on that nutrient.
makes sense. In a way, we are also going to be topsoil after we die.
Yeah, exactly.
They are going to bury us, and we also have calcium in our bones.
Phosphorus also. Phosphorus,
Yes.
nitrogen to some extent. Yeah.
So if you're useless until death, at least after death, you're useful.
Yeah.
And there's always a
Definitely-
plus point in everything.
Definitely, whatever we consume and whatever we take in all the days is again going back to the nature, and again the nutrients will be there. So don't worry about that. So that's a natural process, and if you bone meal is very rarely available. It is a little more expensive than normal things because
For some reason, it just seems illegal, also, bro.
illegal.
I feel that the way they do it only seems illegal, that they won't find it.
No, it is approved. You get it in all the leading soil and these all stores. So don't worry, it's legal.
Okay, I'll just take your word on that. Okay, let's move on to the third question. What is a herbal groomer?
Okay. So herbal powders, and all these things are one of the taken elements from Ayurveda. This is one of the most and least products that consider Ayurveda or take approvals from them. And
As in?
yeah, like these all elements which come into this herbal powder are taken from Ayurveda. Like there are so many elements.
Approved by whoever.
Yeah, who's related?
Practitioner.
Yeah, practitioners of Ayurveda.
Right, got it.
So usually people who use hair oils, hair powders, body creams always look at if it is from Ayurveda.
Yeah, bro, I use Patanjali.
Yeah, it is
Because it has
Ayurvedic.
Ayurvedic supplements.
True. So similarly, when you are actually using for your plants, you won't see this word Ayurveda quite frequently. Like
So, I never heard of it to be honest.
yeah. Even he didn't hear of it, and even you might be rarely hearing of it. If you are using something like rose petals or something like that, some people have this habit of putting rose petals in their soil.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people have this habit. So that's apart. That's apart because you're doing it naturally. So now, when you're talking about herbal powder is nothing but it is a very good substitute for some things like neem cake and neem oil sometimes and other insecticides which are of chemicals. This herbal powder has components like penicillin and these all things. They have ethylene and these all are very minute elements available in the nature. So there are other many scientific words which you would not even connect to.
Right.
So what they have is they have all the anti bug elements in them and also anti insect elements in them which do not let them come to the plant. And they keep all these they act like a repellent.
Got it.
And also the plus point in this is they also have the nutrient that is required for the plant's maintenance of overall growth and immunity. So when this herbal powder can directly be put in the soil, or similarly you can have for every 1 liter you can put 10 grams into the soil and spray it around the plant.
Okay.
So it will definitely give some beautiful results for you. And in most of the cases when it could be rhizobacteria or anything that affects the nodes of the plant, or it could be some fungus affecting the plant, definitely people will be using this groomer powder. And groomer powder is a very natural substitute for some chemical based insecticides and pesticides. So go with it. It's a very good option and we would recommend you that.
Organic is always way better.
Yeah. And if you are also looking to get your APEDA certification or some international certifications for your land, saying that your land is of pure quality.
This is for commercial side.
Commercial side
Right.
also. When you are trying to get some certifications, if you use this groomers, there will be more chance that you will be easily approved. Because they'll consider your conscious effort to make it organic.
Right.
They are using a Ayurvedic herbal powder called the groomer. There are some brands also. You can just go and type them on Google. You will get them.
Got it. Okay, let's move on to the fourth question now. So now this is something I also personally want to know. Is there a change in gardening trend post-COVID? I mean, we've seen the change, but something, which people are not seeing that much, but there is a significant change happening, which people don't see it yet. Is there a change like that?
Yeah. So almost most of the people are now talking about organic vegetables, organic fruits, organic herbs, whatnot, and the rate of consumption has actually gone up. If you see, even Walmart has reported that there is more consumption of fruits and vegetables post-COVID.
Right.
Like now it's almost 120% compared to the
Damn.
previous year. So it's almost like a spike of 60% to 70% altogether. Because people were never interested in that aspect. But now, what still needs to be spoken about is the active changes that are happening in the organic industry. Because they are telling that it's the only consumption of fruits and vegetables that has grown up. But they haven't yet told that it is organic.
Okay.
They are just telling that the consumption has gone up, but they are not demarcating between organic and non-organic. So the growth in organic industry is only 20%.
Okay.
And this 20% should be taken very seriously. And what this 20% has bought into the market is the trend that we are going to talk about today, and which is very close to us.
Okay.
So this 20% population that we are talking about are those who are strictly following the tag called as organic, 100% organic. Like you have organic mantra, you have Jeevan basket, you have polymeras. These all people assure you that our crop is 100% organic. It means that they have got all their certifications from the government. At least they have maintained their organic farmlands for 7 years under APEDA and other government organizations and got the soil quality approval.
Right.
So this is one aspect to it. And today they have close to each organic player is having at least 50 stores in the city.
All these.
Yeah,
Nice.
they have 50 stores at least in a city.
Damn, that's impressive.
Yeah, and they do not operate as if they are a big supermarket or something. Even they unofficially own some stores where
Right.
their products are placed, but they're not branded.
Okay.
But still, the consumer is getting the opportunity to consume good food. So
Mhm.
this is one way. This is the retail and the supermarket way. And the other way that's very much impressive is going by your terrace and home gardens.
Mhm.
This trend has got almost 40% up compared to the last year.
This one is very visible.
Very visible because almost every player in the market is having a lot of phone calls over the COVID period. Like we want to have something on our terrace, we want to at least consume or replace 2 to 3 items on our plate which
Right.
come from outside. So this is one kind of consciousness, and the other one is the youth and millennials who are taking it very seriously. And as you have seen and you have closely observed, our pocket garden has many similar replicas of the after COVID.
Right.
And that's very interesting because it's only one herb that we're talking about. We give you only one plant, one pot and one soil that you can grow and have at home. But the likely replicas are close to 20-30 companies are doing it right now.
They are
Yeah.
pocket garden. They're not doing pocket
Not
garden.
pocket garden. I mean one kit, one soil piece and one seed.
Okay.
So you see that people are interested in taking a trial pack.
True.
You see that when that one is a success, when that one plant is growing, he'll slowly be your long time customer.
I agree.
So this sample way of going to the market is quite impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And though many people are not even into this business, are trying to replicate this one idea. Let's
Right.
make one sample. If this works out, let's expand to this part as well. Like even we have one of our companions in the city. You all might be knowing about home crop.
Mm-hmm.
So even after a long period of gap, he understood that I should start with a single pack. So he started with a micro green herb kit.
Mm-hmm.
So even he understood that one crop going first into the home is very important. And if they consume that plant, tomorrow he'll be buying another 4 to 5 plants from you.
When did he come up with that?
He came up a month prior,
A month ago.
month ago.
Where is he placing all those?
Yeah, people are buying it, right? Just like through their
Like-
website.
Through their website.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
I didn't know about that.
yeah. So
We'll have a discussion regarding pocket garden, Rohit.
yeah, so
ASAP.
yeah, yeah. So pocket garden is something that is actually moving. Even I had my team member Shivani talking about it today, saying that let's place it for people in the website portal, because all these days have been about corporate orders and requirements. But yeah, individual publics reaching out to it is very important, and we are quite feasible in terms of money. So I don't think we don't have a competition in this place, at least because the delivery charges are too low with us. The
Right.
quality is too high. So I don't think we have any competition, at least with Pocket Garden.
I'll just say let the market decide.
Yeah.
Is there something you're still talking about?
No.
No? Okay, so let's move on to the fifth question. So this I guess is a question almost everybody has, but they just ignore it and then their plants just die. So the question is how to protect your plants when you go on a vacation.
Okay, so there are 3 approaches to save your plants when you're not at home. One is you can place them outside and give them to your neighbor or your relatives or anybody who's close by, so he can handle it. This is a very simple way to go by. And the second one is you can plan on having a home drip irrigation system, which is very simple. The hack is very easy. What you can do is you can take a half-liter cool drink bottle or any plastic bottle. You can cut it half, and what you can do is you can pour complete water into it and just make us like you have to cut the bottom, the
Okay.
bottle's bottom to half or at least 60%. You have to keep the upper part active, and what you have to do is in the cap part you can put one single hole, and place it upside down in the soil and pour complete water and go. They'll survive if your plants are bigger enough, indoor bigger plants.
Bigger enough ante how big?
Like they should be at least like 2 feet, 3 feet plants.
Okay.
And when they are too small, what you can do is you can. This is very interesting. You can take a marker. You can take a marker, an empty marker. You can remove the refill inside.
Right.
If you know, you can make a small slit downside, and you can pour water and put it in the soil.
Okay. It already has a small hole there.
Yeah. So drop by drop, it will keep it saving. The moisture goes in.
Wouldn't all the water just go through within a day?
No, it won't go. Small plants, very small plants.
Okay.
For very small plants. And when you're planning to go out, you can also have electric drip systems that are working nowadays. Make use of technology because it's very important as well at some time. When you have a bigger terrace garden and don't have any option to go by, you are also getting something by smartphones. There are also apps that are being created. So what you can do is you have an integrated watering system.
Right.
You can just switch it on, switch it off. It's at your phone's distance.
21 people.
Yeah. So
Technology is everywhere.
yeah. So you will get access to it, and even there's one person we know. I personally know called as Mr. Pawan. He's a scientist, and he has also been working with with APJ Abdul Kalam once upon a time, and he has got many accreditations. Even he told me that it is possible to get it at a low scale. So we are
Okay.
trying to work on it.
Right.
Like how we can have an integrated system where you don't have to be here. Your plants can just need the electric board. That's it. To
Yeah,
connect
that's
with
it.
your water systems. That's it.
I think that is like a futuristic thing.
Yeah.
Like if it is introduced, it'll be like a futuristic thing, but it'll be very very convenient. It'll
Definitely.
make people's life easy, but for now I feel neighbor doing it is the best option.
Yeah. Neighbor doing it is always the best option.
That's absolutely free.
Yeah.
And you have somebody to personally look after it.
And also, we'll throw a question if you know. Are there any pet care, like you have pet care centers? So, do you have any plant care centers who can take care of these activities?
If you know, please let us know. You can drop it down in the description, or I have all my social media handles there. Even Make Me Gardens link is mentioned there, so you know you can DM us there and drop in if you know any plant centers who
Yeah.
take care of your plants when you're not in town, or if you've gone for a small vacation too. Let us know if there is somebody who will take care of your plants.
Yes.
On that note, this concludes Gardening Upshop with Make Me Garden.